Hello Gemini, and welcome to Mountain Medicine. My name is Mindy. I'm going to take you guys on a medicine wheel spread. I will explain the positions as I go along because it's kind of confusing how it goes around in the circle, but we'll go around the circle several times and I will explain as we go. So I've shuffled the cards already. I like to shuffle them around just a little bit so it gets the Gemini energy into them. And we'll start here in the center, which is just the center of you. And we have the energy of the South. So this guy has come out on every single reading I've done today. He is represented by wolves. So it's kind of like moving in a pack, welcoming others. It's trust factors. It's also kind of an innocent sense just because when we're surrounded by others, we kind of feel like a vulnerable type of a feeling. So we'll see where that leads us, but we'll go down here, which is where the South represents, which is down in this quadrant here. We have the rites of passage, so some sort of change. You can see there's like a journey happening. He drops the backpack and he's moving up through the hills, and then up on the top there's like smoke rising up, and it just goes through cycles, change, movement. Rites of passage, as you know, might be like from a boy to a man type of an energy. So let's see. We have to get lots of cards on the table to put things together. So moving over here to the left, we're going to go into the inward space. So this is what I call like the cuddle cave, or your hibernation space, or place where you feel the most creative, like a meditation retreat is that space over there. Oh, and we have death and rebirth. Interesting. So definitely a change going on, that you're dropping something. Like I said, drop the backpack. That's really all it has to be. There is not a literal death, I hope. But the most important part is rebirth, right? The next thing that happens after we die is we just become bubbles of energy, and then we're able to go and be wherever it is we see fit. So rebirth is going to be really cool, actually, energy to start right out with, because we can see kind of where you're going next. And that's one of my favorite things to find. So we'll move upwards, and this is looking up into the higher realms, looking for alternate medicine, doing cleanse work that makes you feel alive and free and abundant. So it's about manifestation, meditation, that type of thing. And we have Vision Quest. Perfect. So that's a perfect place for that to be. The best part about this card is that somebody is listening, right? The arms are outstretched, and the most important thing is that there's a face on the other side of the rainbow, as you may say, or there's just always more coming your direction. So let's see as we move into the forward movement. So this is taking action in the physical realm. And as we move forward here from this situation that we're kind of leaving behind, it looks like, the action is to tuck. Okay, so this is a talking stick. It kind of looks like a wand, but it's much more like a lightning rod of sorts to connect between other realms. So just make this connection right here. Like if you're asking the universe for something, it's just nice to have a little offering or specific intention, that type of thing. So it's about declaring what's yours. This is a viewpoint and opinion. Traditionally, they would just pass it around, and whoever had it could speak, and whoever didn't have it did not speak. So it's a pretty good lesson in taking turns, taking all viewpoints into consideration. And we'll just move through the cards here. I'm going to do the purple deck first, just because I get in my swing of things sometimes and like to keep it, you know, synchronized. So this is Spirit of the Wheel deck. This one is Jamie Sam's Sacred Path cards that we did, and these ones are Spirit of the Wheel. So let's see what comes up in the center for you. We have the energy of Virgo. So this can mean that there's a Virgo in your life, but more than likely it is the energy to harness and utilize for yourself. And this one says turning point, preparation, and gathering. Virgos are a pretty good balance of logical mind and spirituality. They're an earth sign, so they're very grounded. And then there's that preparation, energy, and gathering. So we'll have to see as we put more cards down kind of what we're gathering for. It'll be interesting to see kind of this new up-and-coming energy. So we'll go down here to this south side where the relationships go and see if it's related to the relationships for preparation. Okay, and we have the north in the south side. So, as I said, the north represents visions, manifestation, moving forward without fear, law of attraction, that type of thing. It's like the ability to create, right? And this is about the inner child, innocence, and freedom. So this is the purification part of the north card. There's like 4 or 5 different north cards, and this one is that of purifying. So it's kind of shedding this backpack magnified. It's like all of the spirits of the north are there to support you and there to give you what it is you need, what it is that you're asking for, right, with your arms outstretched. And all you kind of need to do is release the baggage, anything that makes you feel small, anything that makes you feel out of control or not perfectly good, perfectly happy. Just declare it and say, hey, I just decided, sorry, I just decided that, you know, this is my new endeavor. And you just kind of get to decide that. And it goes into the alignment with your freedom, with your virtues, your independence. So we'll go over here next to the death card and see what's up and coming. So this is a place, like I said, that we go and hibernate over to the left. And it's a pretty good place to sit and create, to do some right brain stuff rather than logical mind stuff. It's where we kind of make the plan, we get the vision, and let's see what we have. So south comes up again. So this is the 3rd time we've seen, I kind of count that as being the south, but anyway. Personal space, openness and faith. So this is kind of about boundaries. It's about doing only the things that you want. You have all of this power to create your own happiness. So this is telling you to kind of put those boundaries up to whatever it is that doesn't suit your soul and do only what keeps you feeling open and full of faith and full of joy. So trust. Trust in the universe that it has your best intentions at heart. And let's get a little bit more into this seeking and finding energy, which is probably you reaching up or having the want to kind of reach up into meditation and tarot and, you know, the spiritual realm. Magic, manifestation, whatever you want to call it. So up there with the Vision Quest, cool. So many different direction cards. So this is one of the aspects of the West, and it talks about strength. It's kind of like going into your hibernation space and then utilizing the mirror in there and understanding that your overall experience might be able to help someone else. So it says offering assistance, meditation, and patience. Cool. So it's strengthening your aura, strengthening your energy, and using it for good, and probably helping others as you go. So that's really powerful. I like that a lot. Good place for it too. It's like patience. It's kind of like not a time for flight or fight right now. I feel like you can just be concentrating on what it is that you want and finding what it is that you want through meditation, through patience. If it's not just coming to you, you're probably overthinking it. So let's see what comes up in this east side, which is all about manifestation, but in the action form, in the physical realm. So this is about the viewpoints and opinions. This one is, which I see it as being like declaring what it is you want and deciding between you and the universe that you will take nothing less than this thing that you want. So as you move forward, we have the south again. How interesting. Okay, so the south has come out a total of 3 times. One of them is from the same deck. This one's different. So this one just says south, and that's all of these combined. We have growth and we have trust. So what I want to say about this is It's about lessons, learning the lessons, and not letting lessons become cycles, not running around in circles and wondering how this happened again and again. So we have personal space, start with boundaries, openness and faith, and then opportunity, acceptance, and a gateway. So that's how I want you guys to be looking at this, is more like the gateway here, where it's like you've got places to go. You can see there's like contemplation going on on this one, and then this one is like forward movement. So you do have to contemplate before you just simply leap. However, if you take the time to do it, I don't think it's going to be a difficult thing to harness. So we've got one more deck here to shuffle and put out. We've got, these are animal cards, also by Jamie Sams and David Carson. This is just called medicine cards, sorry. I always say spirit, but it's medicine cards. So let's see what they have to offer. So far I see horses, bears. Those are the ones that are standing out. Let's check it out. So we have Gemini, February 2018. January 3. Okay, so good golly. This guy's come out in every single reading. Twice in the center and once in another place. But he talks all about blending in and keeping secrets to a certain degree. He's not necessarily secretive. He's just cunning. He knows right when to speak and how much to say to keep that mystery alive and keep interest, right? So it's like they have these really flashy coats, the foxes, right? They're silver or red or something really pretty and flashy, but then they're so good at hiding. They can dig, they can climb, you know, they're so agile. So be very agile with your abilities to move forward, because I feel like the opportunities are kind of endless for you. There's lots of openness here. I feel like maybe there was something that just kind of ended, or maybe you're feeling like you don't know which way to go. And I know it doesn't sound very comforting, but I really think it's a good place to be. It sucks when you're there, I understand, but let's see. The horse comes out again. I thought we'd see the horse. So I feel like there's definitely a connection here to the horses. There's a lot of them, and the cool thing about them, let me get a bunch of pictures of horses. We can just check out all of them all at one time. There they are. So horses, you have to be really careful not to overpower them, because obviously they are ginormous, right? At the same time, though, they really run with a pack or a herd, and so they have a herd mentality. And they're really easy to follow a leader, because the leader doesn't have aggression necessarily unless compromised. And, sorry, I'm going to put those there. Yeah. So, let me get my mind straight. There it is. Perfect. So, horse and horse, the power struggle thing, it's not necessarily a struggle, it doesn't have to be, but it's a perfect balance between aggression and direction, which is what I like to see with horses. So it's like a herd mentality. Everyone's kind of on the same level. There is a little bit of a hierarchy going on, but for the most part, everyone kind of gets along. It's very smooth energy, and then when the owner comes along and there's like a rider, the horse is willing to learn because they're interested in the leadership follow mentality. So we'll get a little bit more into that, but that's power. So inner child, that makes a lot of sense being here, and change. So I think it's more like the ability to run, the ability to be free. It's kind of like you have to break free from the fence. As the horse, it's more of a wild feeling, and we have a lot of this like open opportunity, openness there. That one says meditation, offering assistance, moving forward, turning point. It's all very forward-moving energy. There might be like a decision needing made, but nothing too heavy. Then Mother Earth, she wanted to come out again. So the best thing to do if you want to find your answers is to do some grounding work before you do the forward movement meditation work. So usually when you listen to like a guided meditation, they'll put you through a series of, voice they'll talk about your breathing. They'll talk about coming into your body. They'll talk about connecting to your toes and your fingers and all of it connected and surge energy through yourself and then ground it all down into the ground. And so I'm going to be recording one of these meditations here soon, but it's just a really good idea to like physically get your toes in the sand, physically connect to the earth, because we all are connected to Mother Earth. You cannot not be. You're an earth being, and so harnessing that energy, being with her and treating her like an actual being is going to be very beneficial and strengthening. So I feel like in order to find these answers that it looks like you're looking to harness, meditation is in order, but so is the grounding work. And it looks like we do have some trust stuff, maybe some power issues from when you were a child that are still kind of coming up and getting in your way. Because that's the only thing that I see is the power, and his ears are back. It's not necessarily that the horse energy is bad. It's just interesting that we have it here with inner child innocence. Change is ongoing right at the moment, so it can be a little bit scary, and that's a good time to look up tarot cards. So, let's go forward with this meditation and kind of see what it is that you will find out on this vision quest of yours, because it's an actual full-on ceremony. The vision quest is where they would go out into the woods for like a night and a day, or an entire day dawn to dusk, and be alone with the earth and see things, because you know you don't have any distractions. So, oh goodness. Okay, so right next to the bear, which is standing up all magnificently, we have the moose, and that's this energy of like, look how big and strong and tall these animals are. So nothing is going to mess with this bear, and nothing messes with the moose. And that's why the moose at the bottom says self-esteem, is because there's really nothing in the forest that will take down a moose unless it's already dead. And they won't go down without a fight. They're really stealthy. They've got those long legs. They can keep up the stamina, but they don't really have to, because they have this big rack that they can turn around and like not have to worry about confrontation, right? So it's about standing up in your power, standing confident, standing strong in your ways and in what it is you want to do. It's like this, where you demand, you say, this is how it's going to be, this is what I want for my existence, and you get to say that. Okay, interesting. So we had 2 flip out. Okay, so we have gathering on here twice, and that just tells me that change is happening. So we have the squirrel energy with the Virgo, which is planning, gathering, and then this guy is also planning and gathering supplies, like for winter or for your nest, so to speak. And it comes here with opportunities and acceptance and having that gateway kind of open up. So it's almost like once you make the decision, you'll be like, oh, I already have all of the tools. I already have everything that I need. And then right with the squirrel came the trickster. So the coyotes are ones to play with their food, to kill all of the sheep of the herd, you know, or to throw the rabbit up in the air and make it squeal. And so it's still not a bad energy. It's just an energy to just know that some beings or some energies are out there just to mess with you. And so that's why I think this strong strength, unmoving, unwavering confidence with spiritual gifts, patience, meditation is going to be very helpful. So as you go through these cycles that you're going through, it's going to be a really great idea to do the grounding and then uplifting. Once you do these right in order, where that one is just Mother Earth, you symbolically, dig your roots into the dirt and then reach up towards the sky, and then you just become this catalyst for energy. And that's what this is right here. So it looks like you may have a decision that you don't know which way to go, which is fine. In that case, just kind of tell yourself, this is something I've done often, is just like when I get home from school or work, I'll say, okay, what do I want to do for the rest of the day? I'm free to do anything I want. Or you can ask yourself the $1,000,000 question, which is, if I had all the millions of dollars and I had multiple billions of dollars to spend and live and do whatever it is I want, what would you do with your time? Because time is actually more valuable than money. So think of that, like boredom activities is what I call them, things that you would do in your creative space. And just be thinking of what you could do to fill your time if money is not an issue. And that will really help you to make the decision of what it is, what direction you want to go, if that's the case. Now, if you know which way you want to go and someone is kind of keeping you down, or the change is happening, the change is only here and here. There's really not that much change. A lot of it is actually strength and opportunities. So if something you feel like is holding you down, it's not big enough to make big changes in your life. As far as where it is you're going and long term. Just keep the self-esteem and the strength in mind as you go. So what came up here for the center is the condor. He's kind of got like a mirror going on. He's like two heads. But the condor is really cool because he opted to take the job of composting things that are already dead. So he has a wingspan of like 18 feet or something crazy like that. But he only feasts on dead things, things that other animals have already gotten to first. And he actually took that with a badge of honor. He opted in for that. So he's actually really highly revered because he's the compost eater, and it kind of takes the dead and makes it into, feeding the rest of the food chain. So it's pretty noble, actually. And so it's kind of like about taking the high road, okay? And that being the underdog, like opting into being the underdog is not, you definitely don't want to if you don't feel aligned with it. If you feel like you could just give or take this situation and just like, okay, yeah, I'll take sweeping the floors this time or cleaning the toilet that time and it doesn't bother you, then, doing that underdog thing can actually be you standing in your power, which is what's most important right now. So we'll revisit that, but let's go down here to the south where we have all the horses. That's really exciting. So we had imminent change coming. This connection between north and south, because this card is the purity part of the north. Usually the north is all about manifestation, but this one is about clearing blocks and then having nothing between you and your psychic strength type of energy. And then the horse, was the power and the balance between aggression and direction. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Okay, so as we move along with those energies, we have these tiny, tiny cards. They're so hard to shuffle. And these ones are David Carson. They're Amazonian from 2013. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this is really good energy, you guys. This is like a hummingbird in between two trees. You can see the trees, I hope. They're very dark. But the tree is between the two hummingbirds. And the two hummingbirds have one of them red and one is purplish blue. Hope you can see the blue color. Okay, so the hummingbirds are there together, but the two trees are actually what the card is about. It's the tree of life, so it's kind of about, and hummingbirds too, like they get to go and bounce from flower to flower, going after sweet smells and feeding from the tree of life. And really their only food chain is kind of the opposite of this, right? Like Condor gave the hummingbirds this really quick beauty, this really feminine joy, and the ability to sniff really sweet flowers all day and have essentially no worries, So keep that in mind with this change, the change that's happening. Keep your joy in mind. Just remind yourself all the time that you don't have to sniff ugly flowers, if that makes sense. Like if it doesn't align with you, then don't do it. So just follow the joy, and that's really a secret to success and a secret to manifestation as well. And then as we move forward here with the death card, we have the death and then trust and then Mother Earth. So that to me is kind of this compost energy that the condor would come in and eat. So we have the death, which is just change that's getting buried, okay? And then we have personal space, like boundaries, kind of like harnessing a little cave where we can just close the door and do our own creativity exercises or rituals or whatever. And while we do that and connect to the earth, connect to the plants and the animals and everything on a grounded plane, then moving up here, we find our sacred abilities, our psychic abilities, and our crystal work or our magic or manifestation, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. So, all right, let me flip these over because I have them flipped. Okay, so we'll move forward with that energy there with the Mother Earth and the death. Okay, we have the temple. Perfect. So, personal boundaries, definitely. This is a temple, so it's kind of to say your body is a temple. Do not let any muddy shoes into your clean hallway, I suppose. It's about shutting the door again, personal space, and it looks almost like a maze. It kind of has a maze-esque to it in the center there, but it's really not about the maze. It's more about this intricate thing that is you, and it's glowing, so it's around like a super bright white light, and it just cannot be touched negatively. It's about digging deep and finding the jewels, right? You're in this cave, it's like the personal space is there, you have water there, it's like a beautiful cove, and you can find the jewels. And I want you to look at yourself, your psychic abilities, your ability to learn from your lessons and grow is actually something that's, I don't want to say it's difficult to do, but not a lot of people have harnessed it. And so, I'm not saying that nobody has, but you get what I mean, where it's like the ability to know things happened and you can release them properly and you can harness the energy that comes from them and move forward stronger than before is a really powerful way to live. So let's see what we have here for this area. So this right here is the moon goddess. You can see kind of the cycles of the moon here. And then she's a woman. So the moon represents the women's flow time and also healing. So it's like a meditation type retreat type thing. We have self-esteem here, and it's about cycles, calendars, things come and go. Definitely try to release any attachments because it looks to me like attachments are not, well, you've got the gathering here, but I feel like that's more information. Like gather up your past experiences, your trust lessons, the things that you have known to be true because of experience and because of proof in the pudding, right? Putting all of those things together in order to grow is really powerful. Okay, so we have the mammoth here, and the mammoth is a wise old soul who used to walk the earth, and he's connected to ancestors, he's connected to stones, he's connected to knowledge, wisdom, ancient beings, ancient knowing. They just have so much to tell, and there's so much ancestry there. So it's to say, too, that you're not alone. You probably have some guides with you, and this is right here next to the coyote. So the coyote, when they have their, it's usually tricks of the mind nowadays just because we're in a digital world. So just don't let anybody manipulate your self-esteem or your boundaries, because your boundaries, your self-esteem, your understanding of the situation, your outlook on the situation is of utmost importance right now, and how to funnel all of that down into usable energy is what it's saying. And then using this talking stick type of thing, you can make one of these. You just go get a stick and decorate it however you want. You can get pine resin, just like the stuff that oozes out of pine, and then burn it, and it'll like sear onto it and make it like glisten. It's really pretty. It's a lot of fun to do. It's fun to do these silly little projects too. I mean, they aren't silly, obviously, but They feel like silly sometimes when you do them, but once you do it, it really is so much fun and it really enhances the abilities. Once the intention is set, the decision is made, um, the option is designated, then the universe can really get behind you and push this strength out. So then we have this one fell out right in line here. It's just like a sacred geometry shape, and it's centeredness. It's about your boundaries and sacred space again, being present in the present moment, renewal and rebirth, and then healing. So it just goes right in with the death card, really, because we have rebirth again. So whatever you do, just do not hold tight to not move forward, because suffering is the result of indecision, right? And so we just need to be open to change, open to new things happening, new beginnings coming, and just stand in your power. And whatever it is that you need to be gathering, I feel is just information. And just make sure it's your standpoint, your viewpoint, your opinion, your way of looking at the situation is of utmost importance. And it looks like you really do have some questions that you'd like answered, some connections you'd like to make. And all of this south energy, the past energy, is just kind of like pulling at you. So just really keen down on your sacred space. Make sure nobody can come in and change your mind. That's what you need to do, is just make sure that nobody changes your mind. And find the joy in the little things. That's going to be really important. And then just don't get upset when things end or when things stop flowing. Just reanalyze, regroup, reground, and meditate from there. And then if you need any help with this, I am doing, sorry, I keep kicking this. I'm hosting a group program on my mindset page, which is all about, I have a cutting cord ceremony, and then we go through all of these spaces and really release and heal the past. And this is for everybody in any stage of life. I'm going to release burdens from the past, and then go within and do the grounding work, which is all about this quadrant over here. Then up here we look into crystal work and magic and law of attraction, manifestation, visions, dream work, that type of thing. I harness that, and then we make a strategic action plan over here for moving forward, either into a new career or a new standpoint of going whichever way you would like. And then we strategize it and get it in a really logical state.